If it's FDA cleared, it's not good for you.
Yeah.
FDA is not on your side. They're a money machine. They're a cash machine. And they're there to take cash from the people that pay them the most.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be when you're watching this or you're listening to this, or better yet, you're doing both. This is your first time here. You have just found the best damn podcast you've never heard or seen, or both, before in your whole life. We are known as Old Guys Still Rock, better yet, as OGSR. And we are going to be in episode number 166 today. You're like, why 166 is so important is that because most podcasts, if you can go ahead and look up stats on this, is that most podcasts you'll get 3, 4, 5, or 10, whatever, and then they just kind of fade away. Here we are in episode 166. We're going to have an amazing episode. Last week, if you missed it, on 165, I had Chrissy from Chrissy's and El Paseo talking about her journey, also about being my wife. Today, we're going to get into it with April Wright, who is the better version of Brent Wright, who is the also host of this show. But before we get started, how's everyone doing over in the 541 Eugene area? What's going on over there? Was this still summer or do we have rain?
No, it's been summery. Yeah, they stopped running the lines across the valley, so no rain this week.
Well, that's why you have a wellness center, right? So you can combat all that stuff that they float up in the sky.
Yep.
Just talking about the day.
Tinfoil hat today, so
that's all right. I might get into it. So anyway, but again, if you guys are your first time here, I'm Blair Armstrong, a Team Armstrong Coldwell banker. I'm a global luxury specialist in the world of residential real estate, located here in the beautiful Coachella Valley. On the other side of this screen, you see a good friend of mine for almost 30 years, and the other host of this show, Brent Wright at Brent Wright Incorporated, man with many different hats. Typically, we go down a laundry list of stuff what he does, but I'm just going to tell you this. We have 165 episodes. You can go check us both out and figure out if we're a fit for you. The whole premise behind this show is to help you find or get yourself out of that loop to make yourself better. And how, when that happens, it gets us to become better. But I just want to get into today because we got a returning guest. We have April Wright from Wright Wellness Center, located in the heart of Eugene, Oregon. I think we're in year 2, right, April? Is that right? So when did you guys officially open?
December of 2023.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You had a little bit of a hurdle right at the beginning with some beautiful waterworks, correct?
Yeah. Ice storm that we were stuck in our house for 4 or 5 days. And when we finally dug our way down the hill, came in and our gym had flooded.
Yeah.
It's coming out the front door.
That's fun. So you went through that. And again, guys, this is our second time here. So go back and find our original episode when we talk about that. But here we are almost 2 years later.
Mm-hmm.
Massive amounts of change just kind of keep culminating through this 2 years. Where you're at today,
Mm-hmm.
what are some of the things from the last time that we talked about to where we are today that maybe, even though as good as that you dreamed, that you didn't expect have happened so far?
Just the amount of people that we've been able to help, the stories that we've heard, the lives that we've changed is incredible.
Yeah.
we have a PTSD client who no longer has PTSD episodes.
Yeah.
We have a lady who canceled a shoulder surgery.
Yeah.
We have stroke people that are walking and talking now that weren't walking and talking before.
Yeah.
So you have these things. You guys had this conversation a little bit over 2 years ago before this even started. You came to Brent. I think if I remember correctly, you had a dream of some sort, like, this is the avenue that I want to go down. And you came to Brent and you guys basically put together a plan. Kind of, let's go back there for a little bit to catch people up to that. When you came to that, what were some of the hurdles in your mind that were faced that you basically, okay, this is a hurdle. I don't know how to get from point A to point B. That now you can go look back at those and say what a godsend that is because now I'm helping all these people. But going back to that very beginning of their, when you came to Brent with that,
Mhm.
what was your mindset and how has that enhanced over the last couple of years?
I think my biggest hurdle when I got this download to open this wellness center was, what about my kids? I'm a stay-at-home mom. They rely on me. I am there to support my husband and support my kids, and that's my job. And how is that going to change this business that I'm having to support and run and support others? And yeah, that was my biggest hurdle was, am I going to let my family down opening this business? How am I going to juggle it all? How am I going to do it all? And honestly, it's by the grace of God that I can
Yeah, right.
do it all. I'm in this line of business. You're not just interacting with people. You're interacting with people's emotions, with people's pasts, with their struggles, with their complications, with
Their
um
limited budget.
yeah, working with budgets. So it's a lot of emotion that's in this. And when you're working with people's emotions, it is very taxing. And so there are days that I go home that I am emotionally spent. And it's hard to then go home and my kids at that point are hyped and happy and ready to roll. And so I have to put on my mom hat and continue with my day.
Brett, pulling you into this stuff like this, and I mean, you guys have been together for what, 12 years? Is that
16.
16.
16? Okay. I'm an old guy, so might feel like 20. But anyway, what?
CRS.
Yeah, right. It's getting worse, man. I tell you, I was in the gym today. I'm like, okay, where am I supposed to put this weight? But anyway, I mean, how awesome. Like I had Chrissy on last week and now you have April sitting next to you, which is, I just absolutely love these episodes. But watching the evolution of April, right? I mean, how incredible this is that she came to you with this dream. She knew what she wanted to do, but as what great couples do is sometimes you get stuck in the loop and I know what I want to do, but I'm just not quite sure. And then how you guys fed off each other. So when she came to you this to kind of recap what we talked about a year ago, when she came to this with this idea, how did those conversations go? Because I'm sure there were some fun ones and some hard ones as you're getting through this process. But how does it look like now, 2 years later? Here she is. It's thriving. You're potentially getting bigger. And what a cool little like this one dream that came to you a couple of years ago. What are some of the monumental markers that you have in your mind as you look at her right now and go, wow, this is awesome. And again, what she just said, you're a man with many different hats, right? And here she is being a mom of two great kids and then running a gym and then really helping other people get along.
So our relationship is odd. We don't have a lot of conversations.
Yeah.
We just execute.
Yeah.
And I told her when we got together, nobody has been able to follow through with what they've told you. You're broken. I'm broken. Let's be broken together and fix this. And one of my promises was, I will make all your dreams come true. They might not come true in your timeline.
Right.
They will all come true. And I will do everything in my power before I die to execute on every one of your dreams. And so, again, we didn't have a lot of conversation. She came to me and said, I had this download. This is what I want to do. And I said, okay, let's get the kids. Let's go to the space. Let's manifest this. She drew up the plans, just a simple hand sketch of what she wanted. We went over to our coast house and had Thanksgiving, and I was cooking a turkey, and we got done. We ate. And the next morning on the Friday, Black Friday, I woke up and we spent $1 million
Yeah.
in 2 days and didn't even think about it. We didn't discuss anything. We discussed like what color you want, where do you want to order it from, what kind of piece of equipment, but we don't have like strategic planning meetings like a lot of people do and things like there's not a lot of fluff. There's not a lot of time spent. We're both executioners. We just execute and get it done. And yeah, there's a little bit of turmoil along the way.
Sure.
I want black. Well, black's not available. What other color you want? I don't want another color. I want black.
Right.
Right. And so, those we don't argue just to argue. We don't try to prove a point to each other just to prove a point. We try to prove a point to solve a problem. And that's just how we roll. It's way, way different than most people's relationships. The beauty part is one, I don't know if you're listening to this, stop, pause, look at the screen and tell me I didn't level up when I married this woman,
100%.
right?
I've known you for a long time, dude. You're out of your league, homie.
Oh, yeah. And she's smart as well. And she's articulate and she knows what she wants. And it's real easy. And that's why conversations are simple with us. It's she knows what she wants and she knows that I will do everything in my power to get that for her. And it's not about the stuff, it's about executing on her dreams. That was my commitment, still my commitment. It's what I'm going to do, period. The beauty about this from a financial standpoint, guys, is that 2 years ago, she was $1 million in debt to me. And today she's at 348,000. So not only has she paid her bills, but she's also paid down $600,000 worth of debt. She's added 2 employees. So now she has a total of 4 employees, still doesn't take a paycheck because she's aware of her debt. And that's what it takes when you're in business. She might not be able to take a paycheck for 5 years. And then we're looking at going into another $1 million worth of debt for this growth by the first of the year.
So here you are. You had the opportunity, first and foremost, to get financed by your husband. Thank you, God, for that. But that's not the point. So people are going to hear this and like, I can't believe this guy is making her pay him back. What does that do for your business mindset, knowing that? I mean, you obviously agreed to that. So just take us through that. I'm just going to let you answer. When you're talking to him, what is your like? You're okay with this? Maybe you're not okay with this, but I'm guessing you're okay with this because you're continuing to grow. But you're okay with this, and what does that do for your business mindset? Not only your business mindset for, but the people that come and see you, and then your employees.
So it's funny, and most people will comment on that, but we run our businesses like businesses. It's not,
We run our house like businesses too.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Just because he's my husband, I don't take that for granted. The fact that he's good with money and he has the funds to be able to fund my dreams. It's my business, and it's without him I wouldn't have been able to do it, and I do owe him, for it, and I will pay him back, and it's no different than taking a loan from the bank. I have to make the money to make my payments. It drives me. If it wasn't for that, would I have the drive to push and grow my business? Probably not, because I think, well, the bills will get paid either way. So it's a business plan. It's we keep it very separate from our relationship and our home life.
Do you feel that accountability factor that you have, and which is such a close proximity, obviously, with your husband? Do you feel that has spilled over to, I mean, obviously it has helped you to grow as a business person, but do you feel that has spilled over to your employees and then from your employees down to your clients?
Mhm.
Just knowing I have that accountability, like, okay, I know that these are hurdles,
Mhm.
but and then explain that to them. So how are you taking that accountability factor, what we just talked about of using Brent as a bank in so many words, or as a loan person? How are
Mhm.
you taking that accountability and transitioning that into your staff and then to your clients?
So I'm very open with my staff on how much we need to make a month to cover the bills. And if they want raises, then we need to make the sales. They know that if we don't reach our goal every month and then some, that I can't support raises and bonuses and all of that, which, that's something I like to pay my people well and hope that they feel supported. They know that just because Brent has another business that's making income and that we, you know, personally could support raises and bonuses, that It's based off of what we make in the business. My employees have access to all of our reports that show what our sales are, so they know what they need to hit, and it's a driver. It's a driver for us.
We run our businesses differently than most people. We have open books, and our employees can see everything. They know what the numbers are. If we're in the hole for the month and we have a week left, they know they have a goal. We have to break even and make money. Profit is not a four-letter word.
Mhm.
How amazing is that though, right? Transparency. Sometimes, well, actually, most of the time, business owners are not sharing with the employees exactly where they be. It's just like, hey, we got to do this, this, and this, and they're not really seeing the staff, your team members, your employees, whatever you want to call them,
Mhm.
really they hear it, but they can't see it. And how important is that for your staff to see it? And this is a question that both of you can answer that. Has your staff come back and said, wow, this is really eye-opening. I never realized it, and maybe empowering them to invest more? Is that when you started doing that, what and probably the first time, April, with your employees that they actually got to see a spreadsheet where exactly needed to be? Have they come back and told you, "Hey, this is awesome. Now I know exactly what we're supposed to do, how we're supposed to do it"? What type of feedback have you gotten from your staff?
I haven't really gotten a lot of feedback. I know that the girls that I do have on, they're very supportive and they go above and beyond for the business and for me. I couldn't do it without them. Their support, their push, their drive, their dedication, and even though it's not verbal, it's I know it's there. I see it every day in how they work and what they do for us.
We also do things a little bit different. We're in the personal development of our employees as well, meaning we're trying to get them to see that they're a little business inside of our business and that their little business needs to be profitable, meaning they have to not only support their own wages, but they have overhead that they need to support, that they need to make, and they have daily, weekly, monthly goals, and they know what those are. And if they want to raise, then they have to raise the bar. We're not giving them a raise, they're giving themselves a
So it's
raise.
a raise. Massive, massive talk. So we're going and we're talking about staff right now and seeing this, and you have two great staff members, Amelia and Marissa. I think I said that right.
Mhm.
So who came first? Did they both come in the same time? What were some of the attributes when they came in that you saw that like, oh my God, I'll have got to figure out how to make this happen? Were they once clients that became staff, or would they just answer a help wanted ad?
So they have Amelia came on first, and she was referred by her dad, Brian, who was one of my clients, one of Brent's clients as well. And instantly we were like two peas in a pod. We just worked perfectly together. She was two steps ahead of me when I needed her to be, and it was everything just worked great. Marissa is recently hired, and again, she was referred by Brian, and she's been a great addition. She's amazing with the clients. She is catching on pretty quick and, just filling all of those gaps that Amelia and I, as we were getting busier, were missing. And so it's been great.
So what do they have a specialty in their spot? Or are they just in more operations? Are there trainers as well? Are you the main trainer in training them?
So Marissa does have she was a certified personal trainer. She just needs to renew her license. So she does have a background in personal training. Amelia she's been kind of my right hand person, just kind of does it all and will fill in wherever she's needed.
You said something at the beginning of this podcast, by the grace of God and stuff like that. And I love this. And I think that if anybody that has watched most of our episodes, there's always a God common thread through all of our episodes somehow, some way.
Hmm.
Thank you, God, for that. How important has your faith been to the success that you're having, even into the down times? But how important is that? Do you rely on that? Is your staff a part of that? Is that one of the attributes that you look for when you hire, or is that not an attribute?
100%. That is, they have to be believers. Worship music plays in our space 24/7.
That's awesome.
And so
Which has
God
been a game changer, by the way.
Yes, God is at the center of my business. It's God driven. he gave me the download. He is the driver of the bus. And so my faith is stronger than it's ever been. And I, every morning, pray over my business. I spend time with him. And it's been a huge factor in growing my business. I always return to him for everything because it's without him, it wouldn't be where it's at. And as much as I want to take credit for it, it's not me, it's all God.
That's awesome. Before this happened, and maybe even before Brent, did you have that same faith as you have you seen your faith, or did you have faith at all? Some people come into this and not have faith and they find God or God finds them actually and then go, oh my God, there you are. Like, how has that always been in your life? Or is it something that has just culminated over the last couple of years or how many years it's been?
I've always believed in God. I haven't always, as a kid, we didn't go to church on Sundays. I would go with a friend every once in a while. I always prayed. I always believed in him. But probably since we started having the kids go to a Christian school, it's kind of when it was like, we need to really take a deep dive into this and we need to make God the center of our family and the center of our relationship. We've both always been believers. It's just we weren't putting him first. When we started putting him first, things started to fall into place. And yeah, it was just everything changes at that moment.
It's awesome, huh?
Yeah.
It's cool because you kind of sometimes, I mean, we talk about this, Tides. There's probably days, that you want to burn it all down. And I was telling this, I'm mentally spent. I'm the same way with you, April. I mean, I went home last night. I'm like, I have nothing left in the tank, and I can't imagine having kids on top of that right now. It's just because, like, I would be like, I mean, I have 2 dogs, and I'm like, I know you want to play, but I got nothing right now. But so but I love that you have that, Brent, what you said too, and I didn't know this about your business, that you actually have worship music in there. And people I think, gravitate towards worship music is this really old school type of worship music. There's some really cool worship music out there. I mean, you could get some R&B worship music, some rap music, some hard rap, some hard rock worship music, but there is a vibe to it. And I agree with you. You can't have a bad day or you can't have a bad workout when there is worship music in your ear. And I think that's really cool. So what you're saying is if I come in and work in your fitness center, or if I'm coming in for hyperbaric chambers or far infrared treatment, God is present
Yeah.
in there through the music.
Yep.
And have you seen your client's demeanor change, maybe going from a bad day or having a hard day coming in there and all of a sudden, maybe even they haven't even started their workout. Have you noticed like their demeanors changed as soon as they walk through that door? Is there something special that it's unexplainable or that you've noticed?
So what I've noticed is, and Brent mentioned this yesterday to one of my clients, is my clients are believers. They're all believers. And so it's drawing those people that find value in faith and value in what we offer and just value in each other and being able to sit and talk openly about God to people. It's the best.
You're having church
Yeah. Yep.
every day.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, people think you have to go to this one specific building, where there's a pastor, but you're literally having church. You're having fellowship with these people. You're in essence helping each other to get better. I think that's a really cool moment, man. Good job, you guys, on that part. But I want to go back to is like, I've known you guys for a long time. There at one point I had to stay in your trailer one night outside your house. So if you don't remember that a
That
couple
was actually for a week. Your memory's slipping,
yeah,
but it was
I
for a
with my dog, with
yeah.
my 60-pound boxer. So that's another story later. So that was about 16 years ago, 17 years ago. Anyway, April, you had some health scares, and maybe this is the reason why, God kind of, puts you, obviously everything that's happening right now is God driven and understanding that, but you had some health scares. How do you want to share what those were and how you're using those to connect with other people and why these treatments have not only been beneficial to you, because you're the best spokesperson, right, of Right Wellness Center because of what you went through. Share some of that stuff of what happened, and then how are you using that today for people that are having some hurdles that may not be the same, but
Hmm.
you can relate.
I was diagnosed with lipedema, which is a connective tissue disorder. So basically, my fat cells turn into fibrosis, basically like cement.
Scar tissue.
Yeah. There's no cure for it. There is a procedure, which is basically like liposuction that can help with the symptoms. But it's something that I deal with every day. And I never, prior to being diagnosed, I thought it was just normal. It's normal to feel like you're lugging around cement shoes all the time. And so it's been a eye opener for me in the fact that I need to take my health seriously and I need to make changes if I want to feel better. It has helped in the business aspect because I actually do have another client that has lipedema as well. She's a stage 4. I was a stage 2 when I was
Wow. Okay.
diagnosed. And so to be able to talk to her and relate in so many ways and be able to share information back and forth, I would have never met her had I not had the wellness center. And she has been a huge blessing in my life and vice versa. I mean, every time she walks out our door, she's like, I am grateful for the space that you've created, and for people to say that and for me to be able to not just relate with her, but other clients that struggle with things that affect their day to day, it's been really helpful in that situation too.
You had a situation that most people would have said, "This is just my life. This is the way I'm gonna be for the rest of my life."
Hmm.
And maybe it would have gotten worse. Maybe it would have stayed the same. We don't know. That's all on God's timing, right?
Hmm.
But here we go then. I'm pulling it back into the faith aspect. It was like you took action, which a lot of people don't do. Some do, but most people don't. This is just what God's given me, or this is just the way my life is going to be. But you took action.
Hmm.
And now you're this light of hope for so many different people outside the lipedema.
Hmm.
But you're using that, I'm not going to call it a tragedy. You're using that hurdle
Hmm.
to empower others. And does it ever just like, because you're so busy, you're knowing that you're married to the craziest guy that I've known in my entire life, the silent giant. But you're so incredibly busy. You're so incredibly focused. You're not only focused, you're a wife, you're a mom, and those are the two most important things. But you have this business. Do you ever sit back and like, man, if you would have told me this 3 years ago, I would have never imagined. I just thought my life was kind of just this the way it was going to be. And here I am now being an inspiration to others. Has it really hit home to you yet? Is that just, is it still just kind of maybe once in a while, like, holy Moses?
Yeah.
About a month ago, we were sitting there. She was doing her nightly routine. I'm doing my nightly routine. She just looks over at me and says, "Do you ever wonder why we're so blessed?" And we had a discussion about it. But the fact that we're asking those questions to ourselves, I think, is more action, honestly, than doing action.
Yeah, because I mean, we could just get lost in the minutia of everything, right? Just like, okay, Lincoln's got this and Emma's got this, and we got cows that are having babies and chickens and all this. I mean, if you guys, if this is your first time here, if you would see their life, you're like, how in the hell do you guys have all this time to even run these multiple business? In essence, your business partners inside of the Right Wellness Center and outside of the Right Wellness Center. There's other things that you guys are still involved with, so that part of it is that, and that's why I think is sometimes, and I know that you guys do this, but do you guys take a moment once a week, once a month, once a year, and just say, okay, stop. Let's gather everything that we've been blessed with and let's discuss that? Or is it just something that we just have these little 5 minutes, 10-minute conversations?
We do it daily,
Do you?
literally daily, not only in our conversations, but we also have circle time with the kids and we reflect on our day. We reflect on all the things. I mean, Lincoln says he said it last night in our circle time. Thank you, God, for all the blessings that you give us. We don't deserve them, but you still continue to give them to us. To have a 9-year-old understand that is huge.
April, what are some of the do you have like a top 3 life transformation with monumental moments with clients that really stick out in your mind? And then go back to what I just kinda just asked us in a different way that you're like, "This is pretty awesome." That people have come to you and said, "Hey, I'm going through this," and somehow there's a transformation. So, anyway.
It would probably
The first one's probably me, honestly. I mean, I should have been and was scheduled to have a surgery that was going to create me to be a very debilitated 46-year-old,
Mhm. Yeah,
and I'm not.
yeah,
Well, physically.
yeah,
Well, yeah, I am a little bit crazy.
a little. Honestly, there's become so many, and I love that because I remember walking through Kate and Edna's space and them telling us some of their stories. I said, "I can't wait to have stories of my own to be able to share," and now we do. The first one is probably a gentleman that came in and had a stroke 5 years prior, and he had multiple symptoms that he had been struggling with. The stroke had taken his speech, it had taken the use of his right side, and he had constant pain in his leg that he was taking pain pills for that weren't doing anything. We did a series of hyperbaric sessions, soft wave and red light with him, and by the time he was done, he was able to say 3 to 4 word sentences. You were able to actually interact and have a conversation with him. He didn't have the pain in his leg anymore. We had worked on his drop foot, and that was improving significantly. He was able to start creating a fist with his right hand. And so that one's a pretty big one. And then,
By the way, that guy was crazy like me,
yeah, he
very active.
worked out every day, built his own home, all the things. He was a hardworking guy prior to his stroke, and his stroke took everything from him. And so to be able to bring some of that back to him was really cool to watch and see and be a part of. Another client, he was also a stroke victim, and he had had a stroke about 15 years ago. We started doing hyperbarics and red light with him, and he hadn't walked in about 6 years. He was wheelchair bound. And after the series of hyperbarics, he had been able to get up from his chair and walk to the bathroom. So, yeah.
Wow. Right? How
Mhm.
cool is that though, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not taking away from anything too, but I'm gonna go back to this because we had really where this kind of started was on this podcast
Mhm.
a little over 2 years ago when we had Caitlin and Edna on, and they were talking about their Enlight hyperbarics up in Vancouver, Washington, and then you guys, again, taking action. This is what I wanna do.
Mhm.
We're gonna go up and visit one of the best,
Mhm.
which was about a 2.5 hour or about a 2-hour car ride, maybe a little bit less depending on how fast you were driving. But anyway,
Always less.
Yep,
we're not in the body shop for nothing, right? I know a guy who can fix it if something happens. So
exactly.
anyway,
Exactly.
but anyway, is
Rubbing is racing.
Robin, amen. But going to kind of see how that is like, okay, I have this idea. This is what I want to do. I go up and visit, one of these, I would call them the godfather, the godmother of this new technology where it's not a band aid, it's not a drug. It's something that's actually, again, what we keep talking about a lot in these episodes is taking action. I took the action. I had the dream. It came to him. You guys tried to figure it out. Now we're going to go to the next step. We're going to go figure out what is going to be the best equipment for us. So walking into Enlight Hyperbarics up in Vancouver, Washington with Caitlin and Edna, Do you still have that relationship that you're sharing experiences or going back to them like, hey, I'm having this hurdle. What are some of the results that you find for this situation? How is that symbiotic relationship that started from this podcast
Mhm.
and is enhanced?
They are some of our biggest supporters. I can call them any time of day and ask them for support, and they're happy to guide and coach. And along the way, we've met new people that are also in the same space, and we've basically become this, I don't know, like working circle where we can just kind of rely on each other and get feedback from each other and be able to help our clients the best of our abilities. And it's been a huge help in growing because I tell all of my clients that my goal is to get them the best results. And whether it's with me or not with me, I'm happy to point them in the right direction. There have been people that I haven't been able to help and knew I wasn't going to be able to help. And so I directed them in the where they needed to go. And a lot of people appreciate that because then they know I'm not in it for the money, and it's never been for the money. This industry is not a moneymaker. I am in it to help people and get people to feel better.
That's the coolest part about this is the separation of us is I handle the money, I deal with all the stress that comes along with that. And a lot of people are one in the business with that, right? So they're the person talking to the customer and they have to have all the stress and worry about the money. She doesn't have to worry about the money. She doesn't have to worry about hitting certain markers. I mean, she's aware of them, but she doesn't focus on them to the point of nauseum like most business owners do or entrepreneurs do. I deal with all that. I bring her the things that we need to address. I'd let her know when we're not hitting certain markers and things like that. But she can really just focus on the health and well being of her clients.
Which is amazing, right? I mean, what a blessing that is just in itself that your stuff is first of all, understand the responsibility behind of paying the loan back, but really gets us focused is not having that stress and really just focusing on the client. Which unfortunately, businesses that don't do that, they can get what I call seller's breath. And when they're going to try to jam everything down your throat that's possible. And we can look at that in the prescription world, which I know that you guys, this is another reason why you have that. And I think that we're having this awakening as not only Americans, but worldwide, is that we've been told that take this pill, take this pill, take this pill, take this pill. And
Hmm.
now, with the help of obviously Inlight Hyperbarics, but really we're concentrating on Right Wellness Center in Eugene, Oregon, is that there are alternatives. And instead of a band aid, we're actually finding a remedy. We're finding the antidote. And maybe they still have to take a little bit of medication. We're not saying we're going to abolish everything like that, but there's certain things. But have you seen that a lot with, because you have so much equipment, we're about to get into what you have and how it works. But have you seen that someone has come in with maybe 4, 5, 6, 10 different types of prescriptions just to wake up in the morning? Have you seen that that's weaned down to maybe one or two? And maybe the guy sitting next to you can attest to that as well.
We had our care pastor come in and he brought a box that was like 16 by 18,
Yeah.
completely full to the top of all of the supplements and pills he was taking every day. And by the time we were done, we narrowed it down to an 8 by 8 box. And he's lost over 160 pounds and he feels better and he can execute at a higher level. And this is the important part that people need to is you can over supplement yourself to the point that you're causing yourself grief. He was to the point where he's 65 years old and he could not function in his marriage as a man and as a husband physically. And now he can.
And probably saving more money not being on those
Yeah.
regardless of his health. I mean, literally
Thousand,
saving
thousand,
money.
$1,000 a month.
Yeah.
But I mean, the money is going back towards you to help him through this treatment, but is alleviating all of this excess. But he's putting $1,000 back in his pocket. Is that what you're saying, Brent?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. That's insane, right? Along with paying your the membership fees that you guys have, but you're putting $1,000 back in your pocket. And
Every
then again, and what we talk about, we've talked about this with April once. We've talked about this with Edna. We had Deb Bennett, is addiction specialist. Well, how does this is like America, that's why I say this, America, the world is starting to reckon up is that we're taking these pills and they want us to remain sick,
Mhm.
whatever that sick is. And
Yeah.
now we have this amazing technology. It is not inexpensive, by the way, but the longevity, the long term, the ripple effect of this, not only for you, possibly changing or breaking that. I don't know this. Maybe you guys can speak on this. Does it break the cycle that some people kind of like, okay, I grew up and I was a diabetic. My dad's a diabetic, da, da, da. Have, have you seen enough evidence and case studies that what you guys are doing with your health and wellness center, is it starting to break a cycle that it's starting to become generational, or have you?
It has and can. Here's the impasse. No different than that first story that she told about that guy. He got better and then he stopped coming. Crazy, right? You find something that solves a problem for you, and then you stop doing the thing that solves the problem. I don't understand that mindset. I don't understand that logic. It doesn't compute. It doesn't work on a spreadsheet. It doesn't work in life. Everybody wants a quick fix and everybody wants somebody else to pay for it. We talk about this all the time on this podcast. No one is coming to save you. You, and by the grace of God, have to do it yourself. You have to take action.
Do you guys, does any of your equipment, or have we not got there as Americans yet? Have we not got there yet that insurance can supplement some of the treatments that you have, or are we not there yet?
Small amount.
Small amount.
Most of the stuff that we always talk about this, we say it in tongue in cheek, that if it's FDA cleared, it's not good for you.
Yeah. Crazy, right?
FDA is not on your side.
Yeah.
They're a money machine. They're a cash machine. They're there to take cash from the people that pay them the most. And the people that pay them the most are the people that are creating the problem and creating the solution.
Yeah. I always tell my clients that, especially with the soft wave machine, because they always ask, will insurance cover this? And I said, you can always try and submit it, but most likely the insurance isn't going to cover something that's going to put the pharmaceutical company out of business. Because I've had multiple clients that have gotten off of pain pills because of the soft wave treatments that they got.
Do you use this is I'm loving this because I've been working out most of my life and stuff like this. Do you see with this new technology, and I'm going to rip a hole in the universe with this, and Brent will help me talk through this a little bit later. Is there opportunity for a group of you guys to come together? Obviously, you're not the only one in the United States, but a group of you guys to develop your own health insurance company and developing that and having to use this technology to actually help people get better? Or is that just a far-fetched idea?
No, I'm actually been manifesting that and praying about that. And the way to do it is with a co-op. And there are co-ops out there. There are Christian-based co-ops. Unfortunately, they're not ran by business savvy people and they're not set up. They're set up to solve some problems, but they create almost as many problems as they solve. And so I've been working on that in my brain. I've been working on that as far as a plan. Again, the biggest impasse is that people don't want to take action. I could create this super cool thing, but then you have to get people to act, right? And the only way that they act is by force. Something happens to them and they have to find a solution, or there are very few people, 10% of the population are proactive, 90% are reactive. And so the 90% could sign up for it if we built it as a reaction. But then what do you do with those pre-existing conditions, right? Because how do we solve that? And then the second part of it is the 10% that are proactive. Out of that, maybe one have the means to deal with it.
Wow. So we've basically created a culture that kind of doesn't want to fix it.
They don't. They just want to bitch about it. Period.
Well, I will pray for that for you guys. Obviously, I'm going to have some conversations with both of you. How do we start working that happen? Because I'm starting to see a lot out here. We just actually opened up a wellness, or we're about to open, not us, but there's some people that I have met that's opening a wellness center about 5 minutes from here, and they're going to start doing markers. So you come in, It's a founder's fee that you come in, you pay, and you get health markers, hyperbaric chambers, which again, I want to start talking about the equipment you have. But they're putting that into obviously in my world, I live with a lot of seasoned people. I will never call them old, but in my world, they're looking for longevity. And they're starting to hear about, okay, well, I heard about peptides. I heard about this hyperbaric chambers. I've heard about this farm for treatment, and it's giving me a better life. And oh my God, I want a piece of this. So before one more question before this is into it. What are you hearing that people on the street? Because I heard this from somebody else. This is why I'm going to ask you this. Well, it's just a bunch of what do I want to call it? Just it's a bunch of hype. This stuff really doesn't work. Do you have people that come and say that? Are you sitting in circles? Are you walking around circles like, oh, this peptides, it's just a phase. It'll phase out. Something else will come out. Whatever. It doesn't really work.
We hear it every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it rub you the wrong way, or do you look at for an opportunity to start a conversation?
Honestly, we've had multiple clients that didn't believe in our services and come in for their first treatment and question everything, and then they get their first treatment and feel the relief. So I enjoy the I told you so.
Yeah.
So,
A little bit of Andy Frisella right there, but that's all right.
so quick story. One of my clients was diagnosed with kidney disease, and for the last year, he's been going and doing daily dialysis. If you guys don't know what that is, he has to sit in front of a machine that they hook up to him via IV and a port, and he has to sit there for 6.5 to 8.5 hours every single day just to live. If he misses one day, he could die. He came in for a car wash at our detail shop, and I wanted to talk to him about all of the things at the wellness center. I said, "Are you interested in a tour and a discussion?" And he said, "No, all you're trying to do is to get me to sign up for your services and tax my pocketbook. You're sitting in dialysis for 6.5 to 8.5 hours a day, and I have something that might help that. And you're not willing to go down that road to even entertain the idea that there's a different way than what you're doing."
Tell us about the equipment that you have right now. What are, we talked about the past. I know you guys are still talking about this, but as of right now, what are some of the equipment that you have, and explain the menu of what you have
Mhm.
and what has been the most, I want to call it, the most effective to date? Or maybe you just even got a new piece of technology like this is off the charts. This trumps everything. So
So we have a lot. I'll start in the wellness center, and we have mild hyperbarics. So we have a lay down and a sit up chamber. Our sit up chamber also will take wheelchair clients, so we can wheel them in, and they're able to benefit from the hyperbaric sessions. We have red light therapy in the form of red light pads and a red light bed. And so the cool thing with our red lights is we can change the frequencies on them to actually target what we're wanting to target.
You can't do that with Amazon lights,
Yeah.
kids. They're stuck at one frequency.
Yeah.
And they're at
So,
they're at the feel good frequency, so that's all you do is feel good.
Yeah.
It doesn't fix anything.
Yeah.
so that's just, and April, I want you to keep that menu in your mind real quick. But I think that's a big thing right now because you see this like on Romco. I'm going to call them those Ronco TV ads. As you said, oh, red light therapy. And these topper guys now it has red light therapy. There is a massive difference, correct?
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
there's a price to that, but there is a massive difference of what we're doing those. So
Yeah. And that's what I tell all my clients is because they fall in love with our red light pads when
right.
they're in the office. And we send them the link because you can purchase them for home, and they're a little sticker shocked. And I have to remind them that these are not your Amazon lights. When it comes to red light therapy, you get what you pay for. So our red light bed is, yes, they offer red light therapy at like Planet Fitness and stuff like that. It's nothing compared to what you're going to experience in our red light bed. It's our red light bed, I will say, out trumps any red light bed out there on the market.
So just to give you, for instance, the one at Planet Fitness is stuck at like 433 or 440 and 477 hertz, one single frequency. Ours goes from 20 hertz all the way up to 1,000 hertz,
massive difference, right?
8 different settings.
Yeah. We have vibration therapy. So our vibration plates don't just vibrate, they vibrate and oscillate. So you're getting the small vibration movements, but you're also getting a bigger movement that's causing your muscles to contract, helps with balance, helps with lymphatic system, blood circulation, all of that. We have the in-body scale. So body analyzing scale tells you everything. I always tell people don't rely on the your scales at home because they're telling you one number, and that number can have a lot of factors into it that you need to break it down and see all the numbers and all the information.
What's the difference between a cryo room and a cold plunge? Are they both one and the same?
They're a little bit different. So the cryo is a full body cold treatment, so it can help with inflammation. I think the cold plunge, I always say there's benefits to submerging your body in water. It's going to push your lymphatic system and help your lymphatic system. Anytime you go into water, it basically creates a natural pump for your lymphatic system. And so submerging your body into a cold plunge versus doing cryo, you're getting so many more benefits to it.
Or even
So,
a cold shower.
yeah,
Yeah, I tried that. I think I just need to
I can't.
submit myself to a cold plunge.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
doing
can't
those things.
shower.
So going a little Joe Rogan today, but this is super important to me and it's super important to all the people that we look for because I believe that most of our subscribers and most of our listeners are always looking to get better. And this is just another thing on top of we talk about business a lot, we talk about relationships a lot, but here's another thing which is really the most important is our health and longevity and how
Mhm,
to get our minds right, how to get our bodies right. Because with a broken body, realistically, nothing really works.
mhm.
And I truly believe, and I think that you guys believe this. That's why you're in this business. I think that we've been suppressing our longevity for a long time. I think that they've been in a roundabout way. I'll just openly say this. I think they've been trying to kill us off for a long time. And here we come with these guys with, by the grace of God that we have this new technology. Or maybe it's been around for a long time. I'm guessing it's been around for a lot longer than what we've actually realized. But like,
Just having
it hasn't been mainstream. But you start seeing these guys, that I'm in a belief that you should have a pretty good life in your hundreds,
Mhm.
especially with the new technology. We've heard this a lot. And I think Brent and I actually talked about this beginning part of this, beginning episodes of our podcast that they were starting, like Lincoln and Emma realistically could see 130, 140, 150 years old with the technology that we're coming out and have good lives, not this decrepit wheelchair with dementia and all this other stuff. So I'm excited that you guys are basically the pioneers or the new pioneers of this technology. I love seeing the success stories that you share. April, where can we find you on Instagram? And if I'm in the Eugene Springfield area, where are you guys actually located?
So we're located off of Airport Road, so 29345 Airport Road, Suite D in Eugene. You can find us at Right Wellness Center at on Instagram and Facebook. You can also search our website, rightwellnesscenter.health. Yeah, so there's multiple, there we go. There's our website.
Man in the box, man. He always comes through.
Right.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So, and then, they can always call us. We're happy to chat and kind of walk people through what we do and what we offer and how we can help them.
we do free tours.
Yep. We do tours of the facility all the time. Just come and check it out, chat with us. I'm always happy to talk with people and answer their questions because when it comes to this, people always have a lot of questions.
And you can text the main number
Yep.
541-246-3242.
Mhm.
Any final thoughts for either one of you today?
Guys, just go make a damn difference. Help people with their dreams, and your dreams will come true as well.
Make God the center of all that you do, and it'll happen.
Get on your knees first thing in the morning. The first thing we hold each other accountable to. If I look over and she's not doing it, I'll do it. If she looks over and sees me doing it, she's going to do it. Get on your knees and surrender, submit,
Yeah.
and align.
Yeah. April, I'm incredible. Actually, I'm going to speak for both Brent and I. I'm incredibly grateful that you came back. I am, this is definitely a God moment in so many different ways. And I know that you know this, but even in, the hard days is just remember God's light is shining through you. The lives that you're changing right now, what we always talk about and watch our episodes all the time is like, probably never going to realize the full episode or the full ripple effect of your dream that came to fruition, that you're constantly trying to make it better. Even when you get stuck in loops, I'm like, I'm going to find a way out of this. You know, fight, fight, fight. Not let God's light. Do not dim God's light. Right. I'm just so incredibly proud for you. I've known you for a long time. I've known you for at least 17 years, and it's the transformation has been off the charts. Everything that you've dealt with in your life, or that that you've had some tragedies, and you've also had some miracles. You got two miracles, Lincoln and Emma, that only comes from one place, and that's God. And what a blessing that is.
And
And
this is a whole nother podcast story, but they are literally miracles. We had 12 to 14 false pregnancies
yeah,
or pregnancies that had to be terminated and all this stuff. So
I remember. I remember. But glad you were with us. All
Thank
right,
you.
guys. Yes, this episode was long, but there's a lot of good information. I think what Brett and April have said in so many different ways, and I'll wrap it up this way. We invest in a lot of other stuff. We invest in these, these podcasts. We invest in these books. We invest in all this stuff. You can do that, but until you take action, nothing's going to happen. Is this the time that so we're talking about the wellness right now? Is this the time you start looking at alternative instead of keep popping those pills to keep you sick? Not saying you're going to get rid of them, but is there a time that you can alleviate? Is this the time you alleviate some of the stuff? I strongly, strongly encourage you when you're watching this episode today that you really reach out to them. I know that we say it all the time. This is going to be a game changer for not only your body, but for your mind, and it's going to help you get better. And when you do that, even if it's not for Right Wellness Center, they will direct you in a different way that you need to be into it. We want you to come back, and we want you to share the transformation that maybe you just started, or the transformation you're going through because you made the decision to act on getting yourself to get better. So with that being said, guys, stay safe, but most of all, God bless. Take care.